What's up, everybody? Welcome to Aspects Land of a Changing Man. My name is Gold, and I'm bringing you another episode. I definitely want to thank everybody for coming out today and listening in to my perspective on where I think that things can go wrong in relationships, as far as situations that I could have been through or things that I've asked other people that they've been through. So, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. If you want, hit the follow button. Let me know that you are supporting the show and listening in. Hit the like button, whatever it is. If you got any questions, concerns, or you like what you're hearing and you want to express it, definitely hit me up. My email address is mplsmikid@yahoo or gmail.com. My Twitter address is mplsmikid_AKAGOL, and Aspects Lent of a Changing Man is the Facebook page for this podcast. Hoping that everybody had a good weekend. I definitely did myself. It's been good weather. It's coming to that weather that's really comfortable to wear the stuff that you really want to wear, and it's better instead of like big furry coats and boots and all that other stuff. But it's almost the shorts time again, people, so let's calm down. And winter is still here kind of, but it's getting through. That snow is melting, and it's gonna be a good time again. But I love the snow. I love the winter because it makes me miss the summer even more. So thank you, winter, for being here, so that when the summer comes, it's an exciting time. But anyways, to another subject. I wanted to talk about something to where I feel like it can apply to a subject that I'm talking about, and I feel like it will apply to people that are like maybe 40 and younger, especially when it comes to the subject. I wanted to compare relationships to playing a video game. And people might be like, what are you talking about? But at the same time, I am thinking that with things that have to do with subjects, you can sometimes compare them with the way that you handle situations if you really look at how other things are handled. So when I'm comparing a relationship to a video game, it's not saying play the game, play it like it's play people like they're a game. It's use the situations that you handle in the video game to handle in the relationship, and I'll better explain that. So for me, there's 3 ways to beat a game, and there's one way that a game beats you. So I'm trying to see these things that I've learned as far as playing video games, of how to handle them. When you're playing a video game, you're playing to win. And if you're whatever game you're plugging in, you're trying to beat that game. You come in, you're focused on that game. As soon as you put it in, you're focused on that game. You buy the game, put it in, you're ready to play. Your mind is on the game. Your mind is on, okay, this is how I'm going to approach it. So when you come to it, you have 3 ways that you can look at the game and say, I'm going to beat this game, especially when it starts to get hard. When it starts to get hard, you have a certain amount of lives in a video game, just like you do in a relationship. Some people will give you a certain amount of chances, just like in a video game. So when you approach a game, you can either beat it by practice, asking an expert for advice, or you could cheat. So the first way that I wanted to explain is practice. After every defeat, you learn where you mess up at and you try to fix it. So let's say, the board gets hard and you end up getting to a part where, it's getting a little bit difficult. It's getting a little bit rocky, and you end up dying. Well, when it especially like with Super Mario, because Super Mario One on Nintendo, if you use up all your men, you have to start all over. So where you messed up at, if you want to beat that game, you have to come back and say, okay, I remember at this part, this is what I did. So I'm going to go ahead and instead of jumping straight up, I'm going to jump to the side. Or I'm not going to run into this man, or I'm not going to step on that man. I'm going to jump over him, or whatever you're going to do. But you're practicing. So when you by not getting any advice or anything else, you're practicing on your own. So if you see that something isn't working, you step back and you say, hey, you know what, that didn't work. I'm going to work on this and I'm going to fix it. And you're going to use things like patience, self-control, and awareness. With patience, the reason I say that is because the number one thing that you can't control is time. The number two things you can't control is a person. So if you can't control time and time is slipping by really slowly, you have to have patience. You have to learn patience. If things aren't happening as fast as you want them to, you have to learn to be patient with how things are going. And have the faith that it'll get to where you want it to be in time, in due time. And you have to have self-control. If things aren't working, you're getting mad and it isn't coming your way, you got to have the self-control to handle the situation in the right way. And awareness. This situation happened and this is what happened before. So I'm going to see the familiar parts of it, and when I'm approached with that kind of situation again, I definitely know how to handle it now because I see the red flags of it. I see what's going on. So I'm aware of how this situation is supposed to be handled by the red flag that's going up. It's all about how if you're not going to do it to where other people are involved in it, you're definitely going to have to see for yourself where you are messing up at. You can't really blame the video game for it being so hard. You got to learn to blame yourself for not learning the skills to get through that part and fix it. And that takes practice. It definitely takes practice because, parts of, being in a relationship is definitely a hard thing. But with good practice on how to handle situations and how to not argue with your partner and how to focus on them and not be selfish, it definitely takes practice. Then I feel like you can go to number 2, and that's asking the expert on advice. Seeing if they can identify where you are going wrong at, and that basically is humbling yourself because you may not have all the answers to get through the problems that you have. So you might need to ask someone that's been through the subject what they can do. What you can do differently to handle it so that you can get through that problem. A lot of things I hear. One saying that I hear is iron sharpens iron. And with that being said, I've said it before, but with that being said, it's saying that if I have the same goals, I want to be around the people that are having the same goals as well, because in their trying to fix it, it could be something that I'm going through that they can help me out with. If somebody's been through it, a lifelong relationship, and they're telling me the things that I'm going through, they've already been through, and how to fix it, it definitely helps out. So we might not know everything that we need to know, but if we are humble enough to accept an answer from someone that might have been through it or might understand it, we definitely can get the answers that we need to get through a problem that we probably could not have gotten through by ourselves, which is definitely a good thing. And with the third one, it's not really a good one. It definitely is a bad way to use a situation, but it's cheating and basically manipulating the situation in your favor using tactics that aren't beneficial to your development and skills to handle the situation. So if you're like playing GTA or Mortal Kombat or whatever else, and you find that it's getting too hard for you, you can't handle the losses that you're taking, and you just you can't figure out what's going on, you can use tactics that aren't beneficial. And you learning things. You can use yelling and arguing, which are beneficial for the way that you communicate with someone. You can use mental, physical, or emotional abuse, which is beneficial in compromising with your partner and caring about them. Caring about their feelings is basically you being selfish. You can use cheating and blaming your partner, which is not you not caring about you caring about your wants instead of their needs. You're not protecting them. You're trying to protect yourself. So it's not really you learning all the good things in a relationship. You're basically trying to use things that you say, well, okay, I'm mad, or okay, I'm losing control, okay, I'm scared, and I want to change that, and I don't know how, so I'm going to use this little cheat code that I learned from somebody that didn't do good in relationships, or that doesn't sound very beneficial towards my partner, and see how that goes. The bad thing about cheating is you can still lose. And when you lose, even after all that cheating, you find out that, it was a bad way of using it. You feel even worse than the first two. You feel way worse than the first two because you feel like you had some type of way that you couldn't lose. There was nothing that you could do to lose. Imagine having a full bar on that doesn't move. Imagine having all the guns, all the money, all the all the things that you feel like you needed to beat the game, and you still lose. You'll be like, how does that even happen? That can also happen when you're cheating in a relationship, when you're cheating in situations in a relationship, when they start seeing through what's happening and you guys break up and you're now being told that you were this and that. You'll be like, how did I even lose when I had the code? They were supposed to be afraid of me. They were supposed to be scared. They were supposed to obey me. They were supposed to do this. How does this happen now? It's because you didn't use it. You didn't do it in the right way. You didn't learn the skills that you need to learn. You didn't ask advice from people that may have been through the situation. You basically thought that you could cheat and get by. So in me talking about these, I think that the first two are definitely ones that definitely the tactics that I feel like you're going to have to use to be able to get through a relationship. Definitely, you want to do, number one. But if, practicing by yourself isn't working and, you're getting stuck in situations and trying to figure it out, you definitely want to ask someone that's been through it. You definitely want to see where you're going wrong at by asking someone that may understand why you're not getting past that board.